I'm going to do Leetcode 771, Joule and stones. And the problem is given as we got an array of basically a string, sequence of characters, joules, and you're given letters like lowercase a and uppercase a, but they are not the same. The case here matters. So if you notice here, you're also given this string stones, and each character corresponds to a stone that you might have. So imagine like joules, basically every character is a different kind of joule. And then you're given this list or things, all these stones, which is a set that some of them might become might be a jewel, right? So if you look at the first one, A, that's actually in the jewels. So that's a jewel. So we're going to count that. And then the second one and the third are uppercase A, which is also in this set of jewels. So we're also going to add that to the count. So three so far. And then all the other ones, B, lowercase, we don't really care. It's not a jewel because it's not present in the jewel string. So in the end, you're going to return three. The second example just based lowercase z as a jewel, but all the stones that I got is uppercase z, which is not a jewel at all. Neither are, so zero. The approach you're going to solve here is think of this as the jewels is going to be like a set. So imagine a set, and we're going to have the A and then the uppercase A. And these are the jewels. And then what I'm going to do is going to go through all the stones for each one of them. I'm going to check, is this lowercase a in my set of jewels? If that is the case, I'll add to a count that I initialize as zero. So initially zero, because I've seen an A there, and count that to one. And then I proceed to the next character, which is uppercase A. I see that in the set. Therefore, I add one to the count and then proceed like usual. Next one. I've seen that as in the set, so two, and so on. Because the other B's are not, it's just not going to add anything to the count. And the end, are going to return three. Sorry, I messed this up. I forgot to count. Anyway, let's go. So I'm going to use Java. And in Java, we can make a set using a hash set. So the type is hash set. And then you got to give the wrapper class here. So I'm dealing with characters. So I'm going to make a set of characters. I'm going to just call it hash set. And then I'm going to make a new hash set of character, parentheses like this. So first thing we got to do is establish our set of jewels. So that's why I first got to iterate through the jewels. So for int I, it's traditional for loop with the index I. And then as long as that is less than or equal to the jewels dot length. Length is a string, so I have to have parentheses in Java. And then I'm going to do I++ to increment. And then here, what I'm going to do is just add that thing that I've seen to the set of jewels. So it's basically the jewels dot char at the character are the index. I'm going to take that. So I can store in a variable, let's call it C. Char C equals that. You don't have to do it. You could just directly add to the hash set. So a hash set dot add, that's the name of the method in Java. If you want to add something to a set, so I can add that C. Like I told you, you can just move this inside if you want to create that extra variable. And then once we establish that, we're going to have a set with all the characters that are jewels. In this case, the example would have the lowercase a and then the uppercase b. And once you do that pass, now it's time for us to look at the stones to determine the count of how many are actually jewels. So we're going to make an int count initialize to 0, and at the end, we're going to return that count. But in between, we got to iterate through the stones. So make the same traditional loop or whatever other loop you can do if you like. I'm going to iterate now through the stones, and it's a string, so I got to use dot length parentheses in Java, I++. Now I'm going to look, okay, if I take stones, the character at the index I, and if you want to make the intermediate variable, it's fine too, or not have it. Is that in the set of jewels? So if hash set contains, that's the name in Java, that character, that means, okay, this one is a jewel, therefore I must add to the count. So I'm going to say count plus plus, which is basically count equals count plus one. Okay. And then that's basically it. And here's the result. Let's submit. And there you go. Let's assess the time complexity. We do have a loop here. Let's take it. Joules has length n. So O of n. And then we got another loop here. Let's say a length of stones m. So we got n plus m. Okay, they're not necessarily the same length. They could be, in which case it could simplify to O of n, but that's only if m is equal to n. But overall is n plus m. For the space, we are gonna hold at most the length of the joules. So if that's n, it's O of n there. All right. Hey, thank you for watching. If you like this content, please consider making a donation so I can keep doing this for you. I'd really appreciate that if you could donate. All right. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.